Welcome back to Shimpling Park Farm, where we're bringing the farm to you in these isolating times. We've had another really busy week. We've been desperate for some rain and finally we've got some. The orphan lambs have grown into teenagers, so Robert and Cameron are giving them a new dormitory. Oh, they're happy with that, Robert.
Yeah.
Look. This week I was planning to come and see Kevin, who keeps his bees on the farm. However, before we go and look at his hives, I've discovered a swarm. There's between 50 and 80,000 bees up there. And they're very calm, but they wouldn't be if they were disturbed. Kevin's going to come and take them and try and train them into a hive, thereby having a new hive and making the area safe.
So we've brought 4 buckets here.
Yeah.
3 large buckets, which are for any excess comb that we don't use.
Yeah.
And then a big bucket of water, because it's going to get very sticky. These are frames to put the comb in, and as you can see, they've all got elastic bands on.
Yeah.
A bit lively already, aren't they?
Yeah.
You begin to hear them.
That's what they do when they think there's a fire, and therefore they'll store up on honey, and honey makes them calmer. What we're going to do is basically comb by comb, take the comb off at the top where it attaches to the roof, and then pass the comb down where it'll get shaken into a hive. And then what we also want to do is take parts off the comb and cut it so that we can actually get it what we call wired, although we'll use elastic bands today, and fix it into the comb so that the bees don't lose the comb that they've built. It gives them something to start with in the new hive. So yeah, and then once we've got all the bees into the hive, if we've got the queen, they'll stay there. If we miss the queen, then they'll probably all end up back up there.
I have to say, these guys are really skilled. I am finding this really frightening, even with my bee suit on. Are you looking for that queen still?
Yeah, if we see her, then I think I've seen her.
So you put the inner cover on, and then a strap round them.
They can now find where the queen is by smell. We'll leave the hive there until at least dusk. Any bees that are flying about will settle back wherever the queen is.
Why have they swarmed in the first place?
Hives reproduce by splitting. What will happen is the old queen will be forced out of the nest by the other bees. Usually most of the bees leave with her, and then probably about a third of them will go back into the original hive, and they will raise a new queen.
Kevin and Tim have put the lid on. Job done. They all seem to be going in. So what, you'll come back tonight and pick them up?
Yes.
Kevin and Tim came late last night and took the hive. However, there are still quite a lot of bees huddled up there, which might mean one of 3 things. Either the queen didn't make it, or the queen is in the hive and they didn't find her, or the queen is still there. So they're going to come back in the next 24 hours and try and gather those last bees up. I think we're going to have an interesting week ahead. Meanwhile, we're going to eat offcuts of honeycomb for tea. Greg and Sam are changing from these narrow tyres to these fatter tyres. These narrow ones are for going in between the rows, but now that hoeing work's done, they can go onto the wider tyres. So why wider wheels?
So wider wheels they spread the weight of the tractor a lot more, so you get less compaction, better grip, so more tyre on the ground, more contact with the ground is better grip, and they're a lot comfier as well, which is a nice bonus.
Good.
And they look better.
Andrew's cultivating this grass field. It was an experimental field that we tried to grow beet and fodder radish and things for the sheep. Sadly, that was all eaten off by flea beetle. The flea beetle comes off a crop called rape, and there's a lot of that grown around here. So we've let this go fallow, we'll now cultivate it in and then it'll be ready for a winter crop in the autumn. Everyone's got their fingers crossed that we get some of the promised rain that we so desperately need. We've got our elderflowers picked ready for cordial, but thankfully then the heavens opened and we had 14 mil by the end of the week. Next week we'll see how Kevin gets on with that swarm and hopefully we'll go out and look at his commercial hives. See you then.